first of all, you can tell me about yourself and where you're from and how long you've been here, and tell us about your business.
Well, that's a loaded question. I've been here longer than you all. I've been here over 52 years. My name is Royston DeSouza. I came to the United States in 1969 from Guyana. Went to school, worked, retired, and then started this business about 16 years ago with a couple of others.
Thank you. And so, I guess, could you tell us about some of the countries that you ship to, and tell us about how it works if someone wants to come here to ship?
Sure. Well, we are Caribbean Cargo DC. By its very name, it's intended to be all-encompassing, which means we serve every destination in the Caribbean. With few exceptions. There are a couple that we don't because of the difficulty in getting the cargo ultimately to its destination, and one of those is Tobago. We ship a lot to Trinidad, but we no longer service Tobago. But every other country we ship to, I would say Jamaica has been, over time, has become our number one customer. We've got more customers from Jamaica than any other country. Guyana and Trinidad, Dominica, Grenada, St. Vincent. In fact, the Eastern Caribbean as well. But the dominant countries are Guyana, Jamaica, and Trinidad.
Okay, thank you. And so when people are coming here to ship, what's the process for shipping from here? I know you offer pickups, and I know you can pack here. What's the process?
Well, we're trying to reach customers where they are. We offer a pickup service. It's done by the destinations, different destinations. We serve on different days, just to make sure we control the cost and the benefit of the customers. But we also invite customers like yourself to come in and pack. By doing so, you get a discount. It's a 10% discount for coming in to pack. And there are some container offerings that we have here that we normally are not able to allow customers to take. So for instance, the D container, which is the largest box we've got.
Is that the one right there?
That's the one over there, yeah.
Okay.
We typically don't allow customers to take that and pack at home, because every time we've tried to do that, it's been a challenge getting it back in. But aside from that, we can go out and we can pick up from one barrel to a household.
Okay.
Right now we're doing a lot of relocations. I would say within the past 2 or 3 years, we've had a lot of customers who are relocating to the Caribbean. And so we're providing that very vital service for them.
Yeah, thank you. And so what would you say are the biggest tips for people who are packing? Both, you service locally too, so if I'm going to college, yeah, so what are tips for people who are shipping domestic and tips for people who are shipping to the Caribbean?
Well, we ship only international, but the tips are quite obvious in a way. We know that people spend a lot of money to buy their groceries or their items or their food. We encourage folks to make sure that in the absence of a barrel is probably one of the most safest ways to ship. Make sure you get double ply boxes. They sometimes spend a lot of money and they get it. And they pack it, and if it is not secured properly, so we recommend double ply boxes. Here, which is the list. So, make sure it's packed properly, make sure it's labeled properly, and if it's packed and labeled properly, there's a 99.9% chance it's going to get there.
Okay, thank you. So I know you have a shipping calendar.
Yes.
And could you tell me more about, in general, on average how long it takes. So when it leaves here, how long does it take to get to the destination?
Yeah. The shipping calendar allows for 4 weeks from the time the cargo is dropped here to the time it gets to the destination. There's some destinations where we get there a lot faster. For instance, Kingston in Jamaica, Kingston and Mobay. The actual sail time is 7 days. However, for us to get it to the wharf and for us to be able to do it in an economical way, because remember now we are not at any of the destination ports or the disembarking ports. Where we are is in the mid-Atlantic region, which means we have to truck the items to the port of New York or Miami.
Okay.
So that 1 month allows for all of the things we've got to do to make sure we get the cargo to the point of departure. And so by the time it gets there, we say 4 weeks, but for many destinations it gets there within 2 weeks.
I understand. Okay, so when we pack here, we truck all the way to the port, and then it goes. I see. Okay, I understand.
Which if you were living in Miami or New York, you wouldn't have that issue.
Right.
Because the ports are there.
Right.
They just got to pack it and get to the port.
Okay.
You have to pack this. For instance, this container you see here
Yes.
is going to Jamaica.
Wow.
And when it's fully loaded, it leaves here and it goes to Philadelphia.
Oh. Okay.
Takes it to Philadelphia, and it sails from Philadelphia
Wow.
to go to Jamaica.
So how do you decide what ports to send from? If you can send from multiple, how do you decide what's best?
Well, timing.
Okay.
There's some ports where it is easier to navigate the entrance into the port. We find that Philadelphia is good for us.
Okay.
New York is also very good, but the port, deciding on the port, oftentimes it's a question of the carrier.
Okay.
Because not all carriers go from all ports.
I see.
And so we've got some carriers that go from Philadelphia, we've got some that go from New York, and we've got some that go from Miami as well. Believe it or not, Baltimore is very close by. There's a port there, but we typically do not ship from Baltimore to the Caribbean.
Okay.
Baltimore is more a port for Europe
Okay.
than the Caribbean. We seem to get better service from Philadelphia and New York.
Okay, thank you. I'm learning a lot. So outside of illicit items, what will you not ship from here?
Well, we ship from soup to nuts.
Okay.
To your point. We certainly take great pains to make sure that whatever people are shipping to the Caribbean, that it is lawful, legal. But of course, we don't ship any. I would say plants.
Okay.
Or any agricultural products.
Okay.
Or animals, but furniture and food and clothing and pretty much everything else. Nothing that's illicit or unlawful or combustible.
Got you.
But everything else we ship.
Do you ship cars?
Yes, we do.
I did not know that. So does it go in a container as well?
Yes.
Oh, amazing.
All of the cars that we ship from here
Yeah.
are containerized.
I see. Okay.
That's probably the best way. We do not do roll-on, roll-offs, which is the way it is done from some of the other ports. But all of the cars, all the vehicles that we sell are containerized.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, and then I'll ask one last question. I can't think of anything else. I guess, could you tell what is the most difficult item you've had to ship? Like something that was just really challenging to figure out the logistics for?
Well, it's interesting. I remember, it must have been about 10 years ago, a young lady came and approached us and asked if we would assist in shipping some refrigerated items to Grenada. And it was for a charitable cause. And we offered to assist. We weren't charging them anything. We offered to assist. And in many respects, it was the most challenging thing we've ever done.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, she was getting poultry from one of the major retailers here, and she wanted to be able to have it air freighted into Grenada.
Okay.
But for it to be air freighted, we had to get it from here, packed in a way that would keep it cold. So we had to get dry ice.
Yeah.
We had to go and secure dry ice and pack it in containers that allowed it to travel from here to Miami.
Wow.
And get it to Miami in time for it to catch the plane to go to Grenada.
Wow.
And we were so relieved when she called after the event to say, Mr. DeSouza, we want to thank you for helping. It was a charitable event. They had turkeys and chicken, a lot of
I think it's safe to
Yeah.
and we, you know, it was very challenging.
Right.
It was one of the most challenging things that we did, but it was also one of the most rewarding.
Yes, I bet.
It was very, very rewarding.
And then I just thought of one more question. Can you comment on like freight forwarding? So a lot of us rely on freight forwarding. So, you know, we buy on Amazon and then we send it to somewhere in Miami, and then we, for smaller items, especially below the customs fee. What would you say, could you give your experience with just waiting to put everything into a box? Like, is it worth, you know, do you like shipping a small box with you as opposed to, you know, a freight forwarder? What do you think?
Well, that's not a service, that's a consolidation. We don't provide that service at this time. We know that there are a number of entities in New York and Miami that provides that service. We do receive items, merchandise for further shipment to the Caribbean, but they're generally bulky.
Okay.
Appliances, refrigerators, those are things that we can handle and we can handle well. But at this point in time, we are refraining from doing the mailbox function. In part because the demand is there, and also in part because that is a job that can be handled better at the ports of New York and Miami.
Okay, thank you so much. And I guess you've done this for a really long time. Is there anything that's still exciting about this work, or anything that, I know you all talk to a lot of people every day, what's the most, I guess, exciting or rewarding part of running Caribbean Cargo?
Well, you know, the most rewarding part for me and for us, by the way, this is an employee-owned business. I hired 15 years ago. I started this business with a couple partners who have since retired.
Okay.
We have people here who've been working with us since this business started.
Yeah.
And so they are part of the ownership structure of the business. I take pride in working to help develop minority businesses. In fact, one of the things that I also involved with is I am the chairman of the Caribbean Business Alliance.
Is that for the state of Maryland, or is it
where? It's within the Mid-Atlantic region.
Oh, okay.
Where we work to provide assistance to small businesses so that they can sustain themselves and become more profitable. And so that's a passion for me. That's something that I enjoy giving back. And in a way, one of the most gratifying aspects of this job is to see that you're able to come and trust your shipment to us with confidence, and we are able to get it to the final destination just the way we brought it to us. No pilferage, no drama, very secure, which is why customers
come back. And your employees stay as well.
And they stay.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Nationalities are in the Caribbean are working with Jamaicans and Guyanese and West Indians and they're wondering aloud, why is it that West Indians can't do for themselves what other nationalities are able to come and get them to do? And I mean, clearly that's a very complex,
Yeah.
the answer to that is very complex, but that's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
This is a minority business.
Yeah.
It's owned by minorities. It is for the people in the Caribbean, and I couldn't think of anything else to do.
Yeah.